Hello and welcome. In today's video, we are answering a question that we had from one of you guys. Somebody left a comment a couple of months ago asking for a specific scenario. A scenario that I would say can happens quite a lot if you are working in a business. You have sent some invoices out to customers, and all of a sudden they pay you, and which is great, right? But then this presents a problem because now we have some invoices on one side and we have payments on the other side, and we somehow need to match those two. Well, first of all, why is this important at all? Like, you might think, like, well, I just got the money, I don't need to worry about anything else. Well, think about, like, for example, if you want to run a statement and you want to send out to the customer, letting them know, hey, you've paid all of these invoices, but these are still not paid and you need to pay us. So you need a way to match the payment with the corresponding invoice. In this way, there's no misunderstanding, and every time you run a statement, you know exactly what has been paid and what not. So this brings us to the very simple question: how do we apply payment that we receive to an invoice, Kim? Can you help us with that?
Oh, yeah. I will certainly try my best. Right. That's for sure. But that's a very good question. And as you say, in accounting, that is a challenge or a task we have to perform almost every day. That's a good thing, because that means you're doing good business and you do have payments coming in. So that's a great thing. Now, in Business Central, you're usually going to use the cash receipt journal for information like this. And you have to register that. So let me show you an example. Let's take a simple example. So what you see on the screen now is the cash receipt journal. It could be anyone. You can have multiple journals in here. I just took the one that's called general. Document number, we have to select the type. So I'm going to say this is a customer. And in our scenario, we have a School of Fine Art. They have some open invoices. So now I could enter the amount. Now I could and just post it. But as you say, that presents a problem down the line because it's not been applied to anything. So we're going to have an open invoice and an open payment. We don't want that. The easy way around is, so let me say, okay, I'm going to put the money into my bank. And I'm going to select my checking bank account for that. You see to the right here, you have some fields called applies to. So if I click on applies to document number, the three dots out here, I'm going to get a list of all my open entries for that customer.
Nice.
So as you can see here, now this customer have 6 open invoices, and you can see the remaining amount over here in this column.
Nice.
You can see the document number out here, the customer number, of course, because we are actually on this customer on the line, so that's kind of a given information. So I could choose the one and say, okay, this is the first line up here, the 11,439.05 cents, and just click on that and click OK down here. So if I do that, it's going to bring back my document number. It's going to put in the document type as invoice. So this is a way to kind of apply my payments to the invoice. So once I post this, nothing's been posted yet. I'm still in a journal. Yeah. So once I post it, it's going to apply those two documents together. Wonderful.
Well, let me ask you then a different question. Let's say that, like we've seen in this case, this customer has a few invoices that are outstanding that are due. Let's say that I finally decided to pay like a couple of those invoices, maybe 3, all in one lump. So I send one payment and I say like, oh, it's, I intend to pay these invoices. Can we do that? Like aside, what are the ways?
No, you're absolutely right, because one way to do that would be to create a second line down here for invoice number 2 and invoice number 3 and so on.
Yeah.
But that kind of presents a little challenge when you're going to do the reconciliation of your bank.
That makes sense, yeah.
Because the check you're receiving from the customer, that's just one amount.
Exactly.
And if we're going to have 2 or 3 amounts here on our side of the statement, it's kind of a little bit difficult to reconcile the bank afterwards. Yeah. So that's a brilliant question, because let's just get rid of this one then up here. Let's delete this one and take another example. Let's delete the line. Yeah, I want to delete it. So let's try again. We'll take School of Fine Art. And we'll take the same approach. Notice that I don't fill in the amount. Okay. I'm just going to concentrate on the bank and say, this is my checking account. And again, I could use this one, but that's the challenge here. Now let's go up here to the top in the home section. There's something called apply entries. So if I do that, I'm going to get more or less the same page as you saw just before. Then just go down a little bit and you recognize the interest in here. We have the same information. But see here in the beginning, the first column in the page is called applies to ID.
Okay.
So for me to apply one payment towards multiple invoices, I can kind of highlight the line, click on set application to ID, and you can see it fills in a number.
Okay.
This number is actually the same as my document number on the line.
So that's how it makes it.
So that's how it makes it. So this was my first one that we just paid, or we intended to pay just a minute ago. Now let's say, okay, they're going to pay this one as well. So we're going to apply the ID to this one as well. So now you can see I've actually selected two, and I could actually go down here and say, okay, they didn't take the third one, they took the fourth one and apply to that one as well. And just kind of a little feature down here, you can see the total amount applied down here, that's 15,000 and something. So that's kind of when you're sitting with your check or your statement from the bank, you can say, okay, does this match? Yeah, that's perfect. That is actually what I need. And so I'm going to click OK to this. It's going to bring back the amount for me. So, of course, as an accountant, I'm going to check that number, of course.
Of course.
Does this match? So that's, and you see, I don't use the fields over here to write. I only use the applies entries.
That's very interesting. Well, that's I think answers like quite a few questions that might be out there. But there might be one left that at least I have. What happens? What happens if I pay some invoices, but only part of one, for example? Like, so maybe 1.5, let's say, because that's the amount of money that I have.
Man,
so I'm sending you just like as much as I can, because I want to, I want to make sure we maintain a good relationship, but I can't pay the full amount of the second invoice, for example. Can I think? What do we do that?
Yeah, it's a good example, and you're absolutely right. It will happen, and I like the initial kind of thought from the customer, say, I'd rather pay something than nothing.
Exactly. So we want to try. We obviously we're happy with the money, but we want to make sure our books are straight. So what do we do?
So let me just clear out the amount again.
Okay.
Let's go to the apply entries. So we're going to get back to the same page, obviously. And you can see those are the entries. Let's take the example, just as an example. We're going to select those two. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. If I go a little bit further to the right here, you can see right now I've applied 12,662. And you see there's a column called amount to apply. So if, for example, the second invoice, they only paid $1,000. Okay. I'm going to change that. So now I'm only going to apply $1,000, not the full remaining amount to this one.
Okay.
And as you can see down here, you see there's two amounts up here. My applied amount is actually reduced now because it recognizes that I changed the amount that I'm going to apply to it. So if I click OK to this, it's going to bring back that 12,439. Now, I only did it for one of them. That could all be all kind of combinations of all kinds of, but you can do that document by document.
That's pretty flexible. So, and just to conclude here, if we were to, like you mentioned before, to post, all we have to do is just up there like normal with any other journal, just go up, post.
Exactly.
Right.
And as a good accountant, you would probably use the test report first, run the test report, just preview it, and say, okay, what is actually going in here? I know there's only one line right now.
But again, just to see.
It's a good kind of structure procedure to have in place that you kind of make sure that this looks okay. Just imagine you had 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 lines on here. You want to make sure that what you're actually going to post now, the total change in the journal, that is what you're going to post to whatever.
Exactly.
And if I may, just now that you're actually looking at this report, you can see there's a section called reconciliation. The reconciliation part of the report, that is, you kind of identify which accounts you want to reconcile, usually a bank account. So up here, you can see there's something called balance after posting. So I know once I've posted this, that is my balance on the bank account. I know this is money going in, but imagine you were doing the same on a payment journal and you had too much in here and the balance after posting would say minus 20 or something else. You kind of, oh no, stop. So again, just information.
And that's great to know, because it, again, without having touched anything in the system, we're able to have a snapshot of how it would look once we finish our operation, which is extremely helpful. But I got to ask, I have one last question. What if accidentally I've already applied the payments and I didn't do these great things that you just showed us? And now, like, I'm standing with the situation with the scribe. So we have the statements and we have these open payments, and you know, we can't. Can we do something about that? Is there a way?
Oh, fuck, man.
I hate to ask the question, but I know some users out there might have it. So
you know, we're all human beings, so it is going to happen, of course. And also, there might be a scenario where you don't recognize it. You don't.
Exactly.
What is the invoice you want to settle it or apply it to?
Exactly.
You have to phone the customer, and the customer doesn't answer, and so on, but you want to get it posted. The good news here, yes, there's a way to do that.
Awesome. Well, but if you're interested, and I think you might be if you're still watching, make sure you follow us in the next video. In the meantime, thank you for watching. And again, if you have any comments or anything that you'd like us to cover, make sure you write it down in the comments. We're always happy to get to them as soon as we can and help you out in your day-to-day life in Business Central.
See you soon.
Thanks for watching this video from NAV SEAL. Check out more right here. NAV SEAL offer assistance and counsel on any existing solution. So if you're in need of assistance, don't hesitate to contact us on navseal.com or LinkedIn. Consider leaving a like and subscribe for more tips, news, and guides to anything Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central.